Wow, you're pretty.
Good. You've hit on me. We can get it out of the way that I am not interested.
No, I'm sorry. I wasn't hitting on you.
Trust me. I've given dozens of these and without...
5 things I believed about Meghan Markle until I actually did my research. Good day, and welcome back to the Sussex Files, the only channel bold enough to go digging where most people are far too afraid to look. Now, before we get into today's video, I need to make you a promise. By the time this video ends, you will not be looking at Meghan Markle the same way. Whether you love her, loathe her, or are sitting somewhere in the middle looking thoroughly confused, what I am about to share with you today will make you genuinely question everything you thought you knew. Because here's the thing. For a long time, I believed a good chunk of what was being said about Meghan Markle. Not just the flattering bits, not just the dramatic bits. I took claims at full face value, accepted them as settled truth, and moved on without a second thought. And then one day, I actually went looking for answers. And what I found? Oh, we are absolutely not in Kansas anymore. Today, we are cracking open 5 of the biggest assumptions people have made about Meghan Markle. Things that were reported, repeated, and practically chiseled into stone, until the facts came along and blew the whole thing apart. We are talking secret weddings, royal racism allegations, crying princesses, a mysteriously disappeared CNN report, and a media victim narrative that crumbles faster than a soggy biscuit the moment you hold it under proper scrutiny. Stay with me, because every single one of these stories is more jaw-dropping than the last. And number 4? Number 4 is the one that made me stop, put my laptop down, and stare at the ceiling for a solid 5 minutes. Right, let us start at the very beginning. And what a beginning it is. Claim number 1. Meghan and Harry had a secret wedding 3 days before the ceremony the entire world watched on television. This was the bombshell that detonated during the now infamous Oprah Winfrey interview. Meghan looked Oprah dead in the eye and said, 3 days before our wedding, we got married. No one knows that. Just the 2 of us in our backyard with the Archbishop of Canterbury. She framed it as this beautifully romantic, private union. The world gasped collectively. Twitter imploded. Every headline the following morning was some variation of the words, they were already married. And I believed it. I think most people did, at least for a moment. It sounded intimate. It sounded sincere. It sounded like something a couple deeply in love would absolutely do. But here is where the story unravels. And it unravels spectacularly. The Archbishop of Canterbury himself, the very man Meghan named as the officiant of this secret garden ceremony, came forward publicly and said that did not happen. Justin Welby stated clearly, the legal wedding was on the Saturday. I signed the wedding certificate, which is a legal document, and I would have committed a serious criminal offense if I signed it knowing it was false. A criminal offense. The Archbishop of Canterbury. Let that sink in for a moment. Legal experts were equally swift. Under English law, a private garden ceremony is entirely invalid. You need 2 witnesses. The public must have unrestricted access to the building. And a backyard, however grand the Montecito estate may be, does not qualify as a licensed marriage venue. And here is the final blow. Eventually, even a spokesman for Harry and Meghan quietly confirmed that the backyard exchange was not a legal wedding. So what exactly happened in that garden? We may never know. But what we do know is that it was not a marriage, and Meghan presented it on global television as though it absolutely was. Now, before we go any further, I need to pause here for something genuinely important. If you are new to this channel, welcome, and good timing. Here is what you need to know. The Sussex Files originally had another channel, and due to some issues that were completely beyond our control, that channel is no longer with us. What you are watching right now is our brand new home, and we are building something extraordinary here. Every single week, we are going deep on the stories mainstream coverage glosses straight over. We are asking the questions nobody else seems to want to ask. If you leave this page without subscribing and clicking that notification bell, I promise you, and I do not say this lightly, you will miss stories that will genuinely keep you up at night wondering how you never heard them before. So right now, please hit subscribe, ring that bell, and let us continue. Because we are only just getting started. Right. Claim number 2. And this one is personal, because it involves 2 very powerful women, a bridesmaid's dress fitting, and enough tears to fill the entire Thames. For years, the press reported that Meghan made Kate Middleton cry at a fitting ahead of the royal wedding. It became one of the defining early narratives about Meghan, the difficult American actress clashing with the poised Princess of Wales. Then, during the Oprah interview, Meghan flipped the entire story on its head without so much as blinking. No, the reverse happened, she told Oprah. It made me cry and it really hurt my feelings. She owned it. She apologized. She bought me flowers and sent a note. On the surface, that sounds like a lovely resolution. Mature adults, honest conversation, flowers exchanged, all forgiven. Except, multiple royal insiders and sources who were actually present at the time pushed back firmly. The original reporting was well-sourced and widely corroborated, consistently stating it was Meghan who had reduced Kate to tears. Those same insiders maintained their version even after Meghan's very public retelling. Neither side can produce a photograph of a weeping princess, I will grant you that. But the sheer confidence with which Meghan reframed a seriously disputed story on a broadcast watched by over 17 million viewers in the United States alone raised rather more than a few eyebrows among those who knew what had actually taken place. Moving to claim number 3, and this is where things get genuinely complicated, because this one touches on race, power, and over 100 years of royal protocol that most people have simply never heard of. Meghan told Oprah there had been concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born, referring to son Archie. She also implied the decision not to grant Archie a prince's title was connected to those concerns. The implication was unmistakable. Racism, embedded within the very institutions that were supposed to welcome her child. Here is what research actually uncovers. Archie's lack of a title was not a bespoke decision crafted to target him specifically. It was the direct result of letters patent issued by King George V in 1917, well over 100 years ago, which limits the titles of prince and princess to the sovereign's children and grandchildren. At the time of Archie's birth, he was the child of a grandson of the Queen. Under rules that already existed long before Harry ever met Meghan, he simply did not qualify. Those exact same rules would have applied to any child in precisely his position, regardless of background, regardless of race. Piers Morgan, among others, called the insinuation completely untrue and factually incorrect, pointing directly at the pre-existing protocol. Now, does that mean the reported conversation about skin color never happened? No, that conversation may well have occurred, but linking it specifically to the title decision, the documented evidence says something very different. And now, claim number 4, the one that made me stare at my ceiling. The palace, Meghan said, refused to help her when she disclosed suicidal thoughts. She approached the institution's human resources department. She asked for support. She was turned away. It was an extraordinarily raw moment on that Oprah sofa, and the world responded with an enormous wave of sympathy. But here is where it gets truly curious. CNN correspondent Max Foster broadcast a carefully reported piece, described at the time as meticulous and well-sourced, which included direct accounts from former palace staff saying the complete opposite. They described a household that genuinely worked hard to support Meghan and prepare her for the extraordinary demands of royal life. That report was subsequently removed from CNN's website, prompting pointed questions from UK columnist Dan Wooten and several others about why a credible piece of journalism had quietly and without explanation disappeared from public view. We may each draw our own conclusions from that particular disappearing act. And finally, claim number 5. The narrative that Meghan arrived as a universally beloved figure, warmly embraced by everyone, until a racist British media manufactured her entire downfall from pure thin air. Research paints a considerably more complicated picture. By 2023 and 2024, commentators across the entire political spectrum, including some of her most vocal early defenders, began acknowledging that race alone could no longer account for her declining popularity, even among demographics that had previously been her strongest supporters. A Vanity Fair investigation published in 2025 was particularly revealing. Multiple individuals who had worked closely alongside Meghan described a consistent pattern, warmth and genuine charm at the outset, but whenever things went wrong, frequently as a direct result of Meghan and Harry's own demands, she would become cold and withholding toward whoever she deemed responsible. That is not the portrait of a woman purely victimized by forces entirely beyond her control. That is a far more complicated human being than the narrative on either side has ever honestly been willing to acknowledge. And that, right there, is precisely what the Sussex Files exists to do. Not to tear anyone down, not to defend anyone blindly, but to go looking, properly looking, and tell you honestly what we actually find. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a like right now. It genuinely helps more people find this content and means the world to this channel. Subscribe if you have not already done so, and make absolutely certain that notification bell is clicked so you never miss a single upload. We have so much more extraordinary content coming your way. Thank you so very much for watching. We will see you in the next one.